And not only did she attend, she also participated in the crazy acts that went on there. Now, even though nobody has outright come to call her out or anything,
What it is, guys, it's your boy BlastphamousHD. Hopefully you guys haven't been drinking any drinks that have GHB or whatever the crap they call it and honey packs in it. But yeah, every celebrity tied to Diddy in 16 minutes flat or less.
Meek Mill. Meek Mill probably woke up a few days ago like any regular guy, checked his phone, and got whacked in the face with a lot of suggestive, self-esteem destroying memes about his involvement in Diddy's current legal mess. There are videos of him awkwardly floating in Diddy's pool, alleged voice recordings of them doing the unexpected, and photos of him partying it up at Combs' infamous parties. At this point, it's not even a suggestion that they're close. Diddy was his mentor in the music biz, which means he's already guilty by association in the gossip world. Naturally, folks wondered if Meek knew anything about Diddy's alleged shenanigans, but Meek wasn't about to let that rumor spin further out of control than it already did, or else the younger generation would know him for that instead of the music he's been trying and failing to push mainstream for years. He hopped on Twitter faster than you can blink and shut down the rumors, offering $100,000 to clear his name. But if you think about it, nobody's ready to splash away that much money unless there's something you want to hide. And it's not out of the ordinary to suggest something happened because this guy was literally wearing matching tops like the friggin' Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah, he was definitely the female of that relationship. But honestly, to tell you the truth, I can't tell.
With Diddy in one of their parties. Some might say it looks like Meek's throwing Diddy under the bus, but when you've worked as hard as he has to fix your image after many legal battles over the years, you're not letting a rumor take you down like a bad remix. Usher. Usher's the type of guy who lives, breathes, and literally starts some of the juiciest scandals you might know. This guy would host concerts, and instead of dancing and entertaining the whole audience, he'd look for creative ways to lap dance and feed your woman cherries. He's always been very weird. Honestly, even the kind of songs and the explicit words he uses to sing would make you want to look around and make sure your AirPods are actually connected, but you wouldn't really blame the guy because he was groomed to become this. From the beginning of Usher's music career, he was shipped off to Flavor Camp to learn the ropes of singing and vice management. But the twist is that during his time in this so-called camp, the young Usher was going to live with Puff Daddy. Well, nobody really knows what exactly happened during the time the Usher spent at Diddy's Flavor Camp, but from all the news circulating, we have a pretty good guess that he was equally giving up some of his bodily flavor too. In fact, when the news about Diddy's arrest and indictment came to light, Usher deleted his whole Twitter account for 24 hours. Now, if this isn't the action of someone who has something to hide, then what is it? The craziest thing about this Usher guy is that he probably knew Diddy's MO and still didn't say anything. He even had the guts to ship off a 14-year-old Justin Bieber to Diddy's house for 48 hours. And in the clip, Diddy was saying some really weird statements like, "We're going to go batshit crazy." Well, they probably did. Even when asked in an interview a few years ago if he would send any of his kids to one of P. Diddy's flavor camps, there was a huge resounding no to that question, which makes people wonder why he now felt even remotely uncomfortable to do the exact same thing to Justin Bieber. As a young child born in the 2000s, chances are you probably had a huge crush on the Justin Bieber growing up. The kid was cute, sang the best love songs, and seemed to have his entire life figured out. But little did we know that behind the scenes, Justin was going through something that more than half of us wouldn't have even survived. Now, it all started when a man named Usher got guardianship of Justin during his early years in the industry. We're talking as early as 14 years old. Before this, Justin had been seen in many interviews calling Usher his mentor and idol, so it wasn't really surprising that Justin was super excited to be under the guardianship of Usher. Now, things are all sunshine and rainbows, but they took a swift turn when Usher had the not-so-smart idea to send Justin to P. Diddy's house in the name of fun for 48 hours. It's like sending a tiny sheep to the house of the big bad wolf and claiming they're just going to play catch. Well, the big bad wolf obviously took advantage of the situation, and while till today nobody knows for sure what went on during those 48 hours, Justin's songs like Lonely and Yummy Yum kinda give an insight into what might have happened. Also in interviews, the poor boy is also seen saying that he wouldn't wish what happened to him even on his worst enemies, and that's saying something. Wendy Williams. Wendy Williams is famous for her blondness when it comes to dishing out celebrity gossip and conspiracies. In fact, her entire career is based on the fact that she hosts shows and fearlessly talks about all the juiciest celebrity gossip without regret. However, with Diddy, Wendy acts like she's seen a very scary ghost. The craziest part of her blatant fear is that she was actually amongst the very first reporters to come out and tell the entire world on her show that Diddy wasn't a straight or good guy. She even went as far as calling him a creep. So the public is honestly thinking that her recent actions toward him are because he may have threatened her in some way. One time when Diddy came on Wendy's show, people could see how nervous it made Wendy. When she mentioned her son, Diddy chimed in that he had seen him backstage earlier on, and the crowd could see that it took everything in Wendy not to fall out from her seat. It was a few months after this interview that Wendy suddenly fell sick, her show got canceled, and she lost everything she had. Some people even think that her memory was wiped by very powerful people because she was talking about spilling the real tea on everything Diddy and some other celebrities were actually up to.
Yep, Will Smith showed up dressed like in the first Men in Black, with the waves and everything, pulled out the neuralizer or the metal sticky thingy that flashes the blinky lights, and wiped her memory clean. Some people would pay for such a thing. We gonna edit that out.
This is all alleged, but if you really think about it, it looks like Diddy got to her before she could get to him. 50 Cent. At a time in your life, you've probably had someone you couldn't stand and despised with all your heart. You know, you can even go as far as blocking, deleting, and totally removing the person from your life just so you don't have to see or interact. Now, just imagine how much you disliked that person. Multiply it by 100 and then add another 100 to the answer you get. That's how much this man named 50 Cent despised Diddy. If Diddy Combs has 0 haters, then 50 Cent is probably dead. 50 Cent, also popularly known as the King of Petty, took it upon himself to personally expose who he saw Diddy to be from the very beginning. Apparently, his hate for Puff Daddy started when Diddy offered to take 50 Cent shopping, all expenses paid. According to Fiddy, that was fruity ASF, highly disrespectful, and not something a grown man should ever even ask another grown man to do. Now, instead of Puff Daddy getting the hint that Fiddy wasn't interested in any monkey business, he decided to go on different podcasts and say that 50 Cent was just playing hard to get. And this added fuel to the fire of hate 50 already had.
Yeah, it makes it
well,
worse.
as the news of Diddy's arrest came to light, Fiddy immediately released a documentary that he has been doing on Diddy for the
I'm not even gonna share the story that reminds me of. Oh boy.
past decade. Do you know how dedicated you have to be in hating someone that you actually create a movie to help ruin the person? Apparently 50 Cent had even hired a private investigator to attend the infamous freak-off parties and gather enough intel, and has been waiting patiently for the perfect time to release everything he knows. The worst part of it all is that the guy is even making millions off the movie because he's allegedly sold the documentary to Netflix. The docuseries is even titled Diddy Do It, which is just absolutely funny and diabolical. Cassie Ventura. Now this particular relationship is the ticking time bomb that opened up the can of worms you are currently seeing on every news outlet. It all started when the real truth about the dynamics of Cassie's relationship with Diddy first got exposed in the lawsuit she filed in November 2023. Now, in this lawsuit, she accused Diddy of some pretty serious crimes like sex trafficking and physical assault. Aside from all this, the fact that she was when she met Diddy and he was 40 just goes to show how crazy the power dynamic in the relationship was. Cassie also accused Diddy of introducing her to several hard drugs and claimed that Diddy was the one responsible for blowing up Kid Cudi's car, all because the guy spoke to her. There were a lot of detailed accounts of abuse in the lawsuit, and she even released a video of him physically beating her in the lobby of a hotel in New York one time. time. In fact, there was a time when Cassie was seen with a half buzz cut hairstyle. Apparently, she had to cut her hair because P. Diddy had ripped half of her hair out during one of their fights. At this point, Diddy really couldn't deny the allegations like he had been busy doing because the video was clear as day. He eventually ended up paying Cassie $100 million the very next week. Oprah. Everybody who knows TV knows the name of Oprah. She is literally the queen of talk shows and is host of The Oprah Winfrey Show, which aired for 25 seasons from 1986 to 2011. She is also very popular for philanthropic works to eradicate child and abuse. However, in light of the recent events happening to one of the biggest names in Hollywood, Oprah seems to have been caught in the crosshairs. Apparently, Oprah has been mentioned to be among the high-profile people who regularly attend Diddy's parties. And not only did she attend, she also participated in the crazy acts that went on there. Now, even though nobody has outright come to call her out or anything, the comments circulating on TikTok kind of indicate that she knows much more than she's letting the world believe. Aside from this, she is also very good friends with men like Harvey Weinstein, who is also currently in prison serving time for sexual abuse of over 80 women, with Russell Simmons, another.
So why do so many homes in Clark County need a flooring replacement? The number one reason is not about
predator, and even João Teixeira de Faria, who is currently sentenced to life in prison over the essay of over 600 women. Honestly, why would a woman whose entire career is about eradicating abuse of any kind be rubbing shoulders with men who have been found guilty over and over again for abuse of women? Pretty suspicious, but as the story unfolds, we'd probably get to see who the true wolves in sheep's clothes really are in Hollywood. Eminem. Another person who deserves to be mentioned in this whole saga is the rap god himself, Eminem. This guy is another person who really hates Diddy and has been very vocal about how much. Now, if you are into rap, you know that one of the ways rappers shade themselves is through the lyrics in their songs, and this is an act Eminem has perfected a long time ago. Now, Eminem's hatred for Diddy started when the rumors alleged that Diddy was actually the guy behind the death of Tupac and Biggie. Allegedly, Diddy paid to shoot up the two big-time rappers, and since then, Eminem has used his genius in music to hint at the fact that Diddy is nothing but a killer, predator, and abuser. Now, while some people are coming out to say that saying what you really think about someone in a song is a cowardly move, the truth is that if he had actually come forth with these accusations back then, he would have definitely been meeting with his role models sooner rather than later. Kanye West. Imagine thinking Kanye West's name wouldn't pop up in the Diddy drama, but not as friends, they're actually enemies. Even though they ran in the same social circles for ages, Kanye eventually came to a point and made it very sure that he didn't actually mess with him. Now, even though Diddy goes around in interviews to say he and Kanye are cool, Kanye has made sure to let anybody who's willing to listen that the only kind of relationship he shared with Diddy was a strictly professional one. In fact, the receipts also confirm that he never attended any of his parties, and apart from the regular celebrity events, he didn't even have a personal relationship with him. In many interviews, Kanye has hinted several times that Diddy was a terrible guy, but he managed to avoid serious trouble because he made deals with law enforcement to stay out of jail. And honestly, even though people didn't really believe it back then, everyone knows how powerful the government can be, coupled with the rumors that celebrities are controlled by higher forces. Now that Diddy is facing some serious allegations, people are starting to wonder if Kanye was onto something all along, because for someone with so many victims, it's crazy no one came forward about these issues until now. Strangely, Kanye hasn't commented on the current situation, which is totally different from the guy you're probably familiar with. The truth is, it's really hard to ignore how, especially since he got married to his new weird wife.
Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to comment, like, and/or subscribe. Twist.